And hello. Welcome back to 4 Laps on ATYL Media. I'm Alex, and with me today is Elizabeth Blackstock from Planet F1. You're also the co-host of the Elizabeth and Ash Show,
Mhm.
and you also host Deadly Passions Terrible Joys podcast. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. I've got my IndyCar's shirt on. I am ready for this season. I've been planning for this. I've been so excited. The off season
Oh,
has
me too.
lasted far too long.
Man, I almost forget IndyCar exists, but then I'm like, wait,
I know.
IndyCar. I love IndyCar.
I
Wait.
know. It gets to be about this time of year and the world is unthawing and everything is coming
Yeah.
back and race car is here. And I'm like, I know I have good things. I have IndyCar on the horizon. I can't wait.
I got my Joseph Newgarden shirt on. I'm ready. Joseph Newgarden's gonna be on my TV this weekend. I'm in my happy place.
He's been on my TV a lot recently
Oh,
between
true.
the good commercials and
Yeah.
between him being at the 500 and then at the Super Bowl. So
hmm
I could always use a little Joseph fix. I'm not gonna lie.
So, what we're going to do today, we're making 4 wishes. We're sticking with the 4 theme, but you know how you make 3 wishes from a genie? We're doing 4. The genie's feeling generous today
The
just because of
Indianapolis
the
Motor
to fit the
Speedway is our
theme.
genie, and she wants us to
Yeah.
have 4.
There's 4 laps in qualifying.
Mhm.
That's how the show was named if you didn't know that.
It's good. It's clever. I like it.
Yeah, thank you. So let's go lap 1, wish 1. We're each going to have 4 wishes. My first wish is that we're going to have at least one first time winner this season, whether it's David Malukas, Callum Ilott, Nolan Siegel, Christian
Mhm.
Rasmussen. I don't care. I think it'd be really cool just to have a first time winner. We haven't had one in a minute.
I like the storylines that come with the first time winners, especially when you've got guys who've been there for a while. But I really hope it's going to be Nolan Siegel. Just
Oh, that'd be
seeing
so
his,
fun.
oh my God, his progress last year was incredible. I don't know what it is about that boy, but I think maybe because he's 5 years old. I'm like, I just want to take you under my wing and protect you. And I hope that your career is wonderful and good.
Right? He's at McLaren, so I'm a little nervous. So, yeah, if he could get that win, that'd make me very happy.
Yeah, secure your spot, secure the deal. The McLaren situation is McLaren. They're going to probably keep doing whatever the heck they're doing. But yeah, David Malukas would be another great option. Colin
hmm
Milot would be a good story for Prima, which I'm about to talk about. We have so many great options on the grid and we have so many incredibly cool people. It would be very nice to see something like first time get the win, get the victory.
Yeah, for sure. So, what's your first wish?
My first wish is that Prima Racing comes out of the gate strong. I have
Mm,
spent this off season and it's also when they announced this being completely 250% committed to this team. They do not have a charter, so they are kind of on the I don't want to say on the back end of things because I don't think the charters are going to have that much of an influence this first season. But I do want them to kind of continue their legacy that they have built up in European motorsport. They've been winning championships for decades. The drivers that they have in Robert Schwartzman and Colin Milot are 2 drivers that they've worked really well with in the past. So I just feel like there's a lot of potential there. And it would be nice to see. I've been seeing it as a new fork at the end of the European open wheel ladder system
mm.
because so many drivers have gotten to F2 and found that there's only 20 spots open in Formula One. And most of the time they've been taken up by someone who signed to a junior program when they were 4 years old in karting. And there's just nothing left. So having
Yeah.
IndyCar as part of that pathway to make a new way forward in motorsport, I think would be really nice. It's a good way to legitimize IndyCar.
That'd be great. And
Yeah,
so, admittedly, did not know about this team before
that's
the
okay.
rumors came
Mm-hmm.
out that they were going to come into IndyCar, but I've learned about them the past couple of months. I think this is so cool that
It
they're
is really
here.
neat.
And
They
I,
they could have picked anywhere to put to build up a team from the ground
yeah,
up, and they chose IndyCar. That's awesome.
so cool. And yeah, I hope the charters situation doesn't impact them at all. But
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be awesome. We need more teams in IndyCar. It'd be great.
I know. It would be nice to see that fresh investment is rewarded, that they're able to perform, and that we can kind of see in the future that even with this charter system that they've got going on, that people are willing to put the time and the effort and the money down and make sure that they can actually compete. I remember when I started watching IndyCar in 2014, and it was like kind of grim back then.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like no promotion, and the teams were all stagnant, and everyone, it was just a mess. So, like, I feel like I've got more excitement and more freshness coming into this season than I think I have in a long time. And that a lot of it comes down to Prema.
For sure. And now let's go into lap two, wish two. My second wish is that I just wish Fox Sports is good.
Yeah.
If you know me at all, I've been very critical of Fox Sports and their NASCAR coverage. But listen, it doesn't have to blow me away.
Mm-hmm.
Just be tolerable, and my wish will be granted.
What are your thoughts on Will Buxton? Do you have any takes
Yeah.
on him?
I am curious how he will do. I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
bold choice.
Mm-hmm.
I know when the rumors were it was gonna be Alan Bestwick, I was very excited,
Yeah.
but I understand why they're going with Will Buxton because he's going to reach out to a lot of Formula One fans.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a bold choice, and I very much understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
But does he have enough experience to lead the Indianapolis 500? I
Yeah.
think the full season I'm okay with. I've suggested a time or two that maybe Mike Joy should
Mm,
be able to call the Indy 500 one year, and
yeah.
then when Will Buxton's got a year under his belt, then do it. I don't know if they're going to do that. Probably not. But I understand why they're making the choice.
Yeah.
It's not my first choice, but I get it.
I don't mind it. I know how passionate Will Buxton has been about IndyCar for the longest time. You know, when he took every opportunity he could back when Formula One was on NBC as well as IndyCar to like come over to the United States. I remember the one year I went to Detroit, I think in 2016, he also came and was doing like pit reporting and stuff then. So I'm excited. I have my reservations about Fox,
Hmm.
as you do with the quality of the broadcast, but I think Will Buxton brings a level of professionalism that is going to be really nice. James Hinchcliffe is very funny. He's got the personality, and I interviewed him in Las Vegas about like what was it like to kind of make that transition from being a driver to a commentator, and he was saying that at NBC they just were like going to give him a microphone and put him in and no prep, no studying, no nothing, which was just crazy to me, apparently also crazy to him.
Hmm.
um, but he works really hard to like, he was like, I made notes and I do this every weekend and I know kind of how I want to do it. So I don't know, I'm really excited. I've seen that they're doing the little superhero graphics for the
Hmm.
IndyCar drivers as well, which I'm not
Eh,
thrilled about, but I
me
will
neither.
hold out hope.
Yeah. If those graphics are, correct, we'll find out here in a matter of
Yeah.
days. If the graphics that showcase those are real and everything, then
I think
I would
at
be
the
okay with
very
this. I think it's
least,
better than NASCAR's.
correct. I would say at the very least, like Joseph Newgarden does have abs. So
Hmm.
if you draw
Yeah.
those onto his little cartoon superhero, that is accurate.
Yeah. And I will say with Fox, it's really make or break for
Yeah.
Fox and IndyCar.
Yeah.
This is a huge win for IndyCar, the whole TV deal and everything. But if the coverage is not good, then it does not
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah,
They need
exactly.
this to be good. It
They
can't
do.
just be, half baked, basically. It needs to
Yeah,
be well done, it needs to be on the same level as the marketing campaign has been, in my opinion, in order to be
absolutely.
successful.
And the marketing campaign has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think it's had a couple little stumbles between
Hmm.
some word choice and whatever, but every time I see one of those commercials, I'm like, yeah, yeah, like they made these guys look so
IndyCar!
cool. That
Yes!
rips.
What's your next
So
wish?
my second wish is please, Big Raj Penske, do not make the charter system suck.
Mm,
I have a lot of complex feelings about how this has worked out in NASCAR, and I think we're seeing the backlash to a couple years of this having been implemented in the Cup Series with all of the lawsuits that are going on. I
yeah.
don't want it to become an excuse to strong arm teams into doing things that maybe are unpopular or are popular with some select folks in management, but not everyone else. Uh, I don't know if it's going to be that big of a deal this first season, which I'm kind of excited about. The grandfathering in of these charters to the teams that had previously existed very good, very neat, very cool. I just worry if we're going to start throwing like grid caps and like the number of cars you can, I'm going to start throwing a fit. And I don't want to have to throw a fit because I know I'm going to have a million other things to throw a fit about. So let's not start early.
I think the best part of this is that it does not impact the Indianapolis 500.
Correct.
But there was a lot of discussion about it. Then what really is the point
Mm-hmm.
of having the charters if you can't get into the race where all the money's at?
Yeah.
And I understood that argument. But if they would have done that for the Indiana 500, I would have been pissed off, quite frankly.
I think a lot of other
I'm
folks
glad
would
it's
have as
not,
well.
but
Yeah, there's so many hard feelings in the past where they had the previous rule where the IRL cars were the only ones that were allowed to get standard grid positions, and that left like 8 positions open for the kart teams when the series was split in 2. So I think a lot of folks were just like, war flashbacks. We cannot be doing this. I cannot live through this again. We're going to have a shitty US 500 somewhere and it's going to suck.
yeah,
Sorry, I don't know if I can swear.
you're fine. It's all good.
Yeah, but it was we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it evolves. This first year, I think, is a good trial run. If they're making me upset about this in year 1, then I know that like it's going to be bad news bears in year 5.
Oh yeah. I mean, NASCAR is in an all world of pain right now. They're in the lawsuits, as you said. I mean, NASCAR reportedly is like considering not even doing it just to get their way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good.
No,
And
it's
that
not.
is a concern.
It is. So fingers crossed that IndyCar will learn from NASCAR's mistakes the same way that they did with the Fox broadcast. Like, we've got great opportunities here to see how NASCAR did stuff and beefed it, and how IndyCar can do stuff and make it not bad.
And now let's talk about today's sponsor. Fuel your passion for racing at Happy Hour Racing, your one-stop shop for the hottest NASCAR and Formula One gear. We've got the best prices on officially licensed shirts, hats, and diecasts. Get a new NASCAR hat every month or celebrate every race win with our weekly winner's shirt subscription. Visit happyhourracing.com today for the latest gear and the best deals. That's happyhourracing.com. And now let's go into lap 3, wish 3. My wish is a little biased, maybe not a little, probably a lot. Joseph Newgarden. I wish Joseph Newgarden wins his 3rd Indy 500 in a row.
That would be pretty cool. The history making of that is incredible.
And look, it's not just because I'm going. He's won both times that I've gone. But history, that's never been done before. I've seen records be broken, witnessing greatness. That it just gives me chills talking about it. Like, oh my gosh, if he does that, that's incredible. And we might never see that again because so many people have come close to that. Elio Castroneves most recently was really close to doing it. And that was over 20 years ago.
Yeah. It's hard to win the Indy 500 back to back, and it's unthinkable to do that 3 times in a row, which would be cool. I love to see a good record broken.
We might never see this happen if it doesn't happen with Joseph in our lifetimes. Like, that sounds maybe a bit dramatic, but look, last time it was close to happen, it was 20 years ago.
I was going to say, like, that was roughly the start of my, maybe not my lifetime, but like my perception of my lifetime.
Yeah.
This race goes back so long, and if we haven't had this happen yet, that's just crazy.
Right.
I mean, I am biased. I like Joseph. I've been to the 500 these past 2 years with Honda, and there's one of their PR guys is so funny because he's a really big IndyCar fan as well, so he gets it. And he was like, "Who's your driver?" And I was like, "I don't want to I know it's corporate, but I shouldn't say it here, but it's Joseph, I want to see him win." And it was so funny because there's 4 or 5 of us on that trip. Yeah. We're all cheering him on as he crossed the finish line. And the PR guy's like, "Oh my God, you're in the Honda suite.
This is bad PR. Don't do that in front of me."
It was so funny. I would love to see it. I think for all of the drama that went on last year and all of the posturing of him as a villain, I do think that he's one of the finest ambassadors for the sport.
Absolutely.
I would love to see him continue to be rewarded in that. Yeah, I just like him. I think he's neat.
That's the perfect summary. I just think he's neat.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
Yep.
So, my third wish is that IndyCar begins to appreciate the championship and not just the 500.
Please.
The Indy 500 is, like, by all means, I want you to celebrate that because that is the coolest thing in the entire universe. On Deadly Passions for the past couple of weeks, I've been digging into some of the founding of the Speedway and the first races that took place there. And the stupidity that happened in the drama and the chaos and the injuries, like, this is a track that should not have made it to this point, let alone a 500-mile event. This was this was founded in an era where 100 miles was deemed too dangerous for a single driver because they would get tired because it would take them like 4 hours. And yet they were like, actually, let's just do 500 of those miles. But there is a whole championship in and around that. And I think the fatal flaw of American motorsport throughout history has been the focus only on the Indy 500 and no focus on the rest of the championship. That was why, it fractured off into two parts in the past, because there was a group that was just like, I only care about this one race. I don't care about what else goes on. And then there was another group that was like, I care about everything else and also this, because it doesn't make sense to just race once a year. Like, that's goofy. We want to string together a quality championship. I think there's so many fun races. There's so much great momentum that goes after you've completed the Indy 500. I think it is just the coolest thing. Like, I just don't think anyone is paying enough attention to the fact that in Gasoline Alley, as the cars are racing around the circuit trying to make history, their cars for Detroit are in the garage being worked on and prepared for the next race so that they can get them in a truck, drive them out to Michigan, and be ready for that race next. That's wild. They're literally in the track facility working on the car for the rest of the championship, not just their 500 car. I don't ever see, I don't really listen to the broadcast because I've been at the track for the past few years, but I never see them make any big deal about that. And that was something that even I didn't know until I did a garage tour with Jack Harvey. And he was like, hey, yeah, that's my Detroit car. And I was like, you got that thing in here right now? Like, they're working on this one? Aren't they supposed to be doing that one? You got the big one coming up here. So a little more emphasis would be nice. It seems like there's been a little bit of a push for it with the 100 Days to Indy now being like hyphenated as Road to the Championship.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know about all that. That's just too many words.
Yeah.
But I am hopeful that Fox will provide that. I think especially with someone, this is where I think Will Buxton will come into his own, is he doesn't come from a background where there is the big race. He comes from a background where there is the championship. And the goal of each race is to say, here's how this ties into what else we're doing. So I think we'll be good on that front. But Fox, don't do me wrong.
Please. I think every race being on Big Fox will assumably help with that.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the Indy 500s on Fox and the rest is on FS1, FS2. Like, every single race is a big deal because it's on the main network.
Exactly.
And hopefully they promote it that way too.
That would be nice. I've enjoyed their promotions for St. Pete. I thought that they were well put together and interesting. I'm excited to see what they do for the rest of the season. It feels like there's a good growth forward. I do really love the fastest racing on earth tagline.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's making a lot of people butthurt. And I am all for like the NASCAR fans and the Formula One fans being like, you can't say that. Our cars might be faster. I don't care. Bring them to the Indy 500. We'll see how they go.
Yeah, let's see. Try putting a NASCAR out there, and they ain't going to hit 220, 225.
Exactly. Mr. Formula One, put one of your cars on an oval. Let's just see. Just a little experiment.
Can those cars even make turn one? I don't know.
They're going to get through turn 2 and a tire is going to blow off.
And now let's get into the final lap, lap 4, and wish for. I want a new exciting announcement for 2026,
Ooh.
specifically a new or returning oval to the schedule. We need more
Mm.
ovals on the schedule. If I
Yes.
could pick one, I mean, hey, we're wishing. I want Homestead Miami specifically
Ooh.
for IndyCar. I think that would be such a fun track for IndyCar to go back
Mm-hmm.
to. I mean, you got New Hampshire if you want to go back to the Northeast. I know Pocono has some bad vibes, so does Las Vegas. But, something like one of those would be kind of neat too.
Mm-hmm.
Just an oval. I'd love
Yeah.
for an announcement for 26. I know they're going to Arlington. I wish it was the Texas Oval. I understand there's
Yeah.
complications there. Just something to make people look forward to 26 as well. A new
Yeah.
oval would be a fantastic addition.
I think that, I mean, the coolest thing about IndyCar is that there are so many disciplines that these drivers are racing on. There's so many different kinds of tracks and so many different styles of racing that they have to master in order to win a championship. And the number of ovals keeps shrinking. And I don't want to be like a boomer about it, but I'm getting a little concerned because they're very, very cool. I understand that there's a much harder translation appeal if you're looking for Formula One fans to get into the sport. But thinking from my own perspective, like I grew up with NASCAR, but I didn't really care about racing until I got into Formula One. And seeing
Hmm.
open wheel cars on an oval for the first time was just a mind boggling experience because I was like, they're going so fast and they're
Yeah.
racing so hard and they're like 2-3 wide and I don't know what the heck is going to happen, but something interesting is going to happen. I've really come to appreciate it, and I would like that to continue, like as much as possible. Arlington, it's Arlington.
Yeah. It doesn't do anything for me personally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna go because I live in Texas, but like
Hmm.
also I really miss my old like habit that I had at Texas Motor Speedway where I would go up, I would stay north of the track in Denton at the same exact like Wyndham Inn, and I would order the same exact pizza from the same exact pizza spot every year, and it was always a blast. And I would just like to return to that because it was good feelings, but also just more ovals.
Good vibes.
There's 4 oval tracks this year. There's IMS,
Yeah.
Milwaukee, Iowa, and Gateway, and that's it. We need a bigger, or no, in Nashville.
In Nashville. And the thing is, IMS is the only one that uses the Speedway package.
Yeah,
The
which
others
is
are all using the short track one.
crazy.
Even Nashville, which I guess is just under the requirements to use the Speedway.
Put them
A
on
Speedway track would
Daytona.
be ideal.
Yeah.
To Daytona?
Put them on Daytona. Just
The
get
Daytona
crazy with
500,
it.
just who cares about the Daytona 500 anymore?
The
Do
new
that.
Daytona 500. We're
Heck
doing it
yeah.
again. Even just on the road course, honestly, at Daytona, because they use so much of the oval track. Oh, that'd be sick. That'd be sick.
Oh my
But
gosh.
that is a hybrid.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll do that, but like, man, if they announce that, I might be considering going because
I know.
like, ooh,
I would.
IndyCar at Daytona. That'd be
That'd be
cool.
crazy.
Yeah.
My number 4 wish, I think my big one, is that we have a first time champion this year. And if I can add on a little clause to this,
Okay.
the fight also goes until the last race of the season.
Okay.
Because I enjoyed the fight last year. I thought that there was a lot of interest. I like Alex Palou. He has really grown on me as a driver and a human being.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to deny that kid has so much skill, but I would like to see someone new have this opportunity. I think it's been interesting to see the way that Colton Herta has tried and not quite made it there, where he's been in the hunt for a while and then things fall apart. So I would love to see if he could kind of keep it all together. Unfortunately, I feel like he's cursed a little bit because every
Yeah.
time like his problems in races are not usually his fault. It's just something, the world's strangest mistake happens, and it just so happens that it happens to Colton Herta. But I
Mhm.
would love to see Pato O'Ward fight for a championship. I would love to see Scott McLaughlin fight for a championship.
Yeah.
I think we've got, there's so many good options and so many very viable ones that I just want it to be contentious and interesting. I covering Formula One full time kind of gets
Oh man.
like, I mean, last season was good. Last season was interesting, but
Yeah.
2023 made me want to die because it was like I know what I'm getting every time I sit down to watch a race. I know I'm gonna watch Max Verstappen win by 45 seconds, and the
It's
whole
like you're watching
battle.
a replay of a race you've
I
already
know,
watched.
I
Yeah.
know. Like, there wasn't any excitement, and I always know that I can count on IndyCar to give me that. And I would really like just get spicy. Like I know y'all have it in you. Just go a little crazy.
Yeah.
Give me a show. Give me a spectacle. Bring it to the end. I want to see last 10 laps. I don't want to know who's going to win this race, and I don't want to know who's going to win the championship. I know it's asking for a lot, but this is my wish, and I will wish it into existence.
I'm right with you on that one. Man, I would love a new champion because I mean, we've had Pillow quite a bit lately, and then
Yep.
Power won another one, and then before
Mm-hmm.
that it was Newgarden and Dixon. We haven't
Mm-hmm.
really had a new one besides Pillow in quite a minute. And Pillow's a three-time
Yeah.
champion now.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Alex Pillow was an anomaly, and now Alex Pillow is inevitable.
Yeah.
Can we like get a middle ground in here somewhere? I would love to see it. Maybe it'll be Kiffin Simpson's year. Maybe it's time for the
Oh,
third
could you
Chip Ganassi
imagine?
driver.
That would be like mind blown. Whoa.
I think people would be so upset, and I would revel in it every
I
moment.
love it. He's funny. I like him.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
He brings a lot of money, so I understand why he is there.
Mhm.
I understand why he was selected over perhaps some of his more skilled teammates last year, but I think he makes up for it in personality, which
Yeah,
we need more of that. We also need
for
money,
sure.
so at least if you can bring the money, be a cool guy. Don't be a
Exactly.
Nicholas Latifi who seemed to have no personality whatsoever in Formula
Mm.
One.
Well, you heard it here first on ATYL Media in 4 laps. Kiffin Simpson will be your 2025 champion, you guys.
Kiffy Sips 2025. Jot it down. Place your bets. You heard it here.
And to hear our actual predictions for the 2025 IndyCar season over on the Gay Racing Podcast, podcast I co-host my best friend Zach. Elizabeth joined us over there as well, made some predictions. That was so fun as well. You can find that on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. This went up the same day as that. So
Ooh.
go check that out right after if you haven't already. Thank you so much for joining us, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I can't talk.
Thank you so much for having me. It is always a pleasure. Like, again, talking about IndyCar,
Oh,
probably my number one hobby.
yep. I mean, we could just talk about IndyCar all day. We can go another 30 minutes. We really could.
I go six marathon. We're having the 24 hours of talking about IndyCar. I
And we need to. St. Pete is this weekend.
know. Oh my god.
Wow.
It really crept up. It's just
Yep.
out of nowhere. I'm here for it.
Well, you can follow me at New Gaden, primarily on Blue Sky. You can follow my podcast, Gay Racing Pod, on Blue Sky and YouTube and podcast platforms everywhere like that. ATYL Media is on all the social media platforms. Subscribe here on YouTube and check out everything Elizabeth's doing, everything I listed off earlier. You're co-hosting a podcast, you're doing your own podcast. You are very busy.
It is
Thank you
podcast
for making
central
time
out
again.
here. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. So if I can talk about race car, that is why I do podcasts. So I can talk about race car. It
Hell
is a
yeah.
little bit easier than having to write words until I get to the editing process, and then I regret everything that I've ever done. But I don't have to do that here. So I'm set. This is like a little treat for me.
I love that for you. Well, go check out the Gay Racing Podcast episode for 2025 IndyCar predictions. Check out other ATYL Media episodes, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.